Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day out there. Gonna do a little quick video here, what I've been up to this weekend, and, some talk about some freight and all that good stuff. Real quick, if you could, hit that subscribe button for me. Maybe hit the like button if you like it at the end. I don't know. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So, last video I ran load over to Minnesota. I got that delivered. Then they called me on a load going down to Iowa. It was 380 miles with 120 miles of deadhead on it. I told them no bueno. They got to get these deadhead to loaded mile ratios down, because I make a percentage here. And, these short runs with a lot of deadhead are not where I want to be. So, we fought it out pretty much all day Friday, or all day Saturday, excuse me, that was Saturday. So, we talked it out Saturday. I told them, I could just pull a load off a load board and, probably pay more than the contract freight and not as much deadhead. They said, well, come on, do us a favor. I reminded them I don't do favors for people I work for. It's called a job, not favors. I don't know what else you would call it. But yeah, I just told them straight up, I'm not in the business of favors. I keep having to remind people that I do business with, I'm not Unicef. Don't call me when you need a favor. Call me when you got money to make. So they threw $100 on it for 120 miles of deadhead. I told them that's, that barely covers the cost of running down there. But, so hopefully they got the hint. Don't be calling me with favor stuff. I don't know, maybe they didn't get the hint. Hell, I ran it for them, so maybe I need to call myself and tell myself to not be doing it, but it was a good load overall. The extra 100 on there padded the numbers. I look at it, if I would have pulled a load off the load board, I'd have got nothing on the deadhead on that. So at least I got something to cover the deadhead on this one. But who knows? It was drop and hook on both ends. Went to a retail distribution center. The load weighed 6,000 pounds. I mean, it weighed nothing. It was like pulling an empty trailer the whole way. So, I got good fuel mileage on it. Got fuel in Iowa for $2.55 a gallon. I've been I filled up on the way over, and on my next load I got it for the same thing, $2.55. Love those fuel prices. So from Iowa, I ran over into Nebraska a little ways and grabbed a load board load. Funny thing is, it was CRST brokerage I pulled that out of. Not a bad load. The brokerage part of it wasn't bad to deal with. I gotta say, it was a good paying load, and it makes me think how much money CRST is making, because they don't pay these drivers nothing that they got. I mean, I've heard some horror stories on what they pay, when they team those two rookies up together and make them run teams, but I don't know. They must be making some serious money. I don't think they're publicly traded over there, so I don't know if I could find out what they're making, but it was a good paying load. Went to Chicago. I knew we got a lot of customers in Chicago. I had a Reefer trailer. The only trailer coming out of that distribution center was from the load to Iowa. The only trailer they had available there was a Reefer trailer, and I had to wait about an hour for them to finish unloading it. And they said if you wanted a dry van, you'd probably have to wait 4 or 5 hours to get a dry van. So I said, no, let's do the Reefer. Because the load out in Nebraska, you could load Reefer or dry van. It was dry van load, but they would load it on either one. I said, well, I kind of been thinking about doing some Reefer loads, to get a little bit more revenue coming in. Excuse me. And running to Chicago with a Reefer's not necessarily a bad thing. So I said, well, if nothing else, I'll find something coming out of Chicago back up toward Minneapolis. We'll see how that all works out. Having a Reefer, got it unloaded this morning outside of Chicago there in the suburbs. And then they wanted me to come up to Wisconsin and grab a load that's going back to Minnesota, drop and hook, customer freight, pays good. But the Reefer kind of hurt me. I had to take the reefer to another customer we got in the area right outside of Elk Grove Village there in that area. I had to take the reefer over there and drop the reefer and pick up a dry van because the place I'm at in Wisconsin does not, they don't load reefers there. So I said, all right, we'll drop the reefer and we'll get on a dry van. And that's what we did. We came up to Wisconsin, did a drop with number one. I've never been to this customer, so they sent me the wrong address. So they paid me a stop off for dropping the reefer. Then they got to pay me another stop off because they sent me the wrong address. And you better believe I'll be checking on that one, because that's one of those where I don't think they're going to add that. I mean, I called them. They said they would. I don't know. I will see when it comes check time, you know. So that's going to be 2 stop-off pays on this one. That's going to pad the numbers on it a little bit. So it is what it is. Dropped the trailer at the correct location after we figured out, you know, they had sent me, it was just a wrong zip code. It was a little mix-up, you know. It ain't the end of the world, but I still want my drop-off pay because I did come over there and, you know, get run around because I show up, you know. And I looked at it on Google Maps, and it's funny, the street names kind of, you know, they lined up in the wrong town. And I kind of got there, and it was like a light industrial area. And I thought, well, hey, maybe, I don't know, you know, like things change. Google Maps ain't always correct on satellite view. So I went over there and got it all figured out. Did a drop at the correct place. Picked up the loaded trailer. Yeah, pancake blew out on the brake chamber as I popped the brakes to slide the... as I went to slide the tandems, you know, I pulled up and I hooked to it. I pulled it out of a door. It was in a door. Pulled it up out of the door, got it straight, and, you know, went to close the doors and slide the tandems. And when I went back there to close the doors, I mean, you could just hear the air gushing out, you know, because I leave the trailer brake in for the inspection. And, I mean, I could hear it like crazy. Little investigating, found out I just blew a pancake on a trailer brake chamber. So took TA about 3 hours to get out here. Took him about a half hour to change it out. You know, the guy was really good. I'll give him that from TA. He knew what he was doing. Made quick work of it. It was just getting them out here, you know. He said he got held up on a previous call, because I was told he was going to be here in an hour when I first, you know, when it was first called in. They called and said, well, he's an hour out, and that turned into 2 hours, and that turned into 3 hours. You know how it goes. I mean, it is what it is. You know, it ain't all chicken. Sometimes you got to eat the feathers. But it all got taken care of. You know, we'll get it knocked out in the morning, the rest of the load. Really no set time on when it's got to be there. It's drop and hook on the other end. I mean, I think they want it there, you know, within a reasonable amount of time, but there's no, like, set schedule for in the morning. You know, I got to be there at some early time. So, I'll probably roll into Minneapolis. I don't know, from where I'm at now, I could probably be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll see. But yeah, it's been kind of a feathers type of day, to be honest with you, you know, and that relates back to, you know, my trainer. When I first started out driving a truck, I lucked out and I got a really good trainer. I went to truck driving school in January 2006. This is my 14th year. So I lucked out, got a good trainer. I went to, truck driving school in Arkansas, and went to start with Pam Transport. That's who I went to school. You know, I went to their school. They did with a couple other companies. Maverick sent people there. USA Truck and Star Transport that got bought out by Covenant. They were doing school there. So Pam got me there, and then like 3 days in on the school, Pam says, well, we can't verify your previous employer. And I'm like, well, you know, they shut down, you know. I worked at a huge Carrier air conditioner plant with like 1,300 other people that got laid off. So I said, I don't know who to call. I gave them the number of the Better Business Bureau in that town to verify, you know, what was going on, that the place had shut down. And Pam still didn't want to, they didn't buy it, they didn't like it. Something was up with Pam. They bounced on me. And so I was kind of strung out there. Called USA Truck because they did, you know, their training there as well. USA Truck was like, yeah, we don't care. You know, finish school and then, you know, we'll get you a trainer. So I'm glad it happened that way because I actually had a pretty good experience at USA Truck the 2 years I was there. But my trainer I got when I was there, see, I'm trailing off, guys. I got to get my GPS out to figure out where I'm at sometimes when I go on these rants. But, yeah, USA Truck got a good trainer. The guy had been driving like 40 years. He owned a few trucks over the years, and he was mainly with USA Truck for the health benefits because the guy had a heart attack and all this other stuff, you know, and he couldn't get health insurance, so he was getting it through the company. He had a nice little gravy dedicated account with Nissan. You know, it was a 900 mile a day run. You know, and he had the trainee run half of it, and he got paid all 900 miles a day. So he was making some good money too. You know, and he had been there like, I don't know, 10 years or something. So he was maxed out on mile pay. I don't know. He was making good money, but anyway, he was a really smart guy. He understood trucking, and he told me like the very first day, he was like, some days are going to be chicken, some days are going to be feathers. Some days you got to eat, you know, some days you'll eat the chicken, some days you got to eat the feathers, and today was definitely a feathers type of day. I showed up at my delivery this morning, and, you know, I was told to be there at 10 o'clock. Apparently it was an 8 o'clock appointment, you know, a little miscommunication on what I was getting told. Paperwork didn't have a time on it, so I had nothing to go by there. I thought it was 10 o'clock. I rolled in at 10 o'clock, and the guy's like, you're late. You're at work in. Now, luckily, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't too bad about it. I mean, he unloaded what he had to unload, and then he got to me. I don't know. I was there maybe 2 hours, you know, a standard unload time. I give it to the guy. I appreciate people like that, you know, that don't just hang you out to dry, you know. And, but then I had the wrong address. I went over there, got to hang out, drive around the residential neighborhoods for a little while, light industrial residential areas for a little while. And then, when we finally do get to the trailer we're looking for, lo and behold, it's got a bad brake chamber on it. So, I say today's feathers. You know, maybe tomorrow, we'll be heading toward Minneapolis tomorrow. So maybe I could see the family. That would be some, you know, that's a chicken type of day, whenever you can get to the house, but I don't know. That's why I say some days are chicken, some days are feathers, though. Got it, you know, I trained with at USA. You know, that's what he always said. That's why I refer back to it. It is what it is. We'll figure it out tomorrow. We'll get the miles in tomorrow. Still a lot of week left, you know. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. I still got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I still got 4 days left to run. Technically, you know, if I call and talk to them, sometimes I can get loads I deliver on Monday pushed on to Friday's check. So, I don't know. We'll see what we can do with it. But, yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging around so far, so long. Be sure to leave some comments for me. I always appreciate the comments, everybody. And like I said, subscribe if you don't mind. Hit the like button. And yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Appreciate everybody. Take care of each other out there. Later.